Order. John, would you deliver the invocation, please?
Dear Lord, please help us, guys, and make good decisions to benefit our citizens of Jasper. Be with our troops that are overseas, be with all our law enforcement and our fire personnel and all the other city workers. And please, please, just help us just walk in your light and be the best people we can be. In your name we pray. Amen.
I'll complete the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, on your agenda, we have item J, addition, please. Reference farmers market. Would entertain a motion to approve agenda as amended.
So moved.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and second discussion. Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hands. Thank you, council. Minutes of the March 7, 2016 regular meeting. Lisa.
Regular council meeting Monday, March 7, 2016. Mayor Weaver called the meeting to order at 6 p.m. He requested Lonnie Waters give the invocation. Councilmember John Faust led in the recital of the Pledge of Allegiance. Mayor Weaver asked that the agenda be reviewed and approved by council. Councilmember Allison Boyle made a motion to approve the agenda, and Councilmember Ann Snavy seconded the motion. Motion carried unanimously. Mayor Weaver noted that Councilmember Tony Fountain was absent for the approval of the agenda. City Clerk Lisa Hoyle read the minutes of the February 1st, 2016 regular meeting. Councilmember Tony Fountain arrived for the meeting. Councilmember Allison Boyle made a motion to adopt the minutes as read. Councilmember Jim Looney seconded the motion. Motion carried unanimously. Mayor Weaver stated that he wished to recognize members of the Downtown Alliance and the Chamber. Also, Mayor Weaver recognized members of Youth Leadership Pickens who were present at the meeting as part of the program's assignments. There was no old business to discuss. Item A under new business, Mayor Weaver recognized Matt Goodwill with MSI Benefits to present the city's health insurance renewal for the April 2016 through March 2017 enrollment period. Mr. Goodwill stated that the group health insurance with Blue Cross Blue Shield would have an increase of 13.73% and the group dental insurance would increase 8.01% over the prior year. See attached documents with presented plans. It was noted that the city had budgeted for a 12% increase in group health coverage. Mr. Bidwell stated that he had also obtained a quote from Aetna and the quote was somewhat higher. Mr. Bidwell also stated that he did not obtain quotes from other companies as they required a detailed health questionnaire from each employee prior to quoting the price. Discussion followed. Councilmember John Faust made a motion to accept the recommendation to offer employees 3 graduated plans with Blue Cross Blue Shield along with the proposed dental insurance renewal with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Councilmember Allison Boyle seconded the motion. Motion carried by unanimous vote. Item B under new business, Mayor Weaver recognized Lisa Hoyle to present to council a resolution required to renew the city's Section 125 plan. Following the reading of the resolution, Councilmember Ann Snavy made a motion to approve the resolution. Councilmember Jim Looney seconded the motion. Motion carried unanimously. Item C under new business, Lisa Hoyle presented to council an application for reduced water sewer rates for approval. Following review by council, Councilmember Jim Looney made a motion to approve the application, and Councilmember Ann Snavy seconded the motion. Motion carried by unanimous vote. Economic developer Gerry Nechvatal gave a report to council. Finance Director Lisa Hoyle gave the financial report for the month of February 2016. Lonnie Waters gave the animal control report for the month of February 2016. Chief Greg Lovell gave a report of police activities for the month of February 2016. Chief Steve Roper gave a report of fire activities for the month of February 2016. Councilmember John Faust gave an update on the JYSA activities. Mayor Weaver recognized Amy Leak to give an update on the Downtown Alliance activities. Mayor Weaver stated that the city had signed a contract for the property approved for purchase at the February 1st, 2016 meeting. Being no other business to come before council, Councilmember Jim Looney made a motion to adjourn the meeting. Council is scheduled to convene next at the regular council meeting to be held April 4th, 2016.
Motion approved as read.
I'd like a motion to approve the minutes as read.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hands. It's unanimous. Thank you, council. At this time, I'd like to recognize Allison Boyle to introduce our guests.
We have two participants from the youth leadership Pickens, the Pickens Chamber of Commerce program here tonight. We have Miss Sydney Roman, please, and Tucker Green, and they are here fulfilling a requirement to attend just one city. Do you have to attend a county as well, or just one city?
I think it's on TV.
Very good.
Okay, it sounds like a photo opportunity to me.
And that should be about all of y'all, right?
Thank you. Thank you and congratulations on your appointment to the Leadership Pickens program, and good luck on your efforts. Thank you. Under old business, we have none. Under new business, we have with us tonight Mr. Walt Cagle, which is item A, Pickens County Sportsman Club. Mr. Cagle, tell us what in the world you're here for.
I'm here for a request to use the city property at Cove Creek and Cove Road for the annual fishing rodeo put on by the Pickens County Sportsman's Club.
Yes.
To the best that I found out at the club, this is either our 29th or 30th year, depending on who we talk to. And great place. We couldn't ask for a better place to have it. So I am formally putting in a request for the property at Cove Creek, Cove Road from May the 11th to May the 14th.
Okay. You've been coming to that area 10 years, thereabouts, probably. But prior to that, it's Penley.
Lonnie may know more than about the dates and the times than I do. I've been in the club. No, I've been in the club 11 or 12 years, and we were having it at Cove Creek.
Already then? Okay.
Then.
Just seemed like yesterday they moved down there for the first time. But anyway, I'd like to entertain a motion for Mr. Cagle's request for the use of Cove Creek.
I make a motion that we approve the Pickens County Sportsman's Club for the use of Cove Creek.
For
Thank you,
May the 11th through the 14th.
Yes.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion? Being none, all in favor vote by show of hands. That's unanimous. Mr. Cagle, we appreciate it, and we appreciate your efforts with our youth, and the fishing rodeo has been a great success at the Cove, and the city of Jasper will help you any way you need. Just let us know and call Lonnie, and he'll call me, and I'll call Gerry, and he'll...
And the people, of course, you and the council, and letting us have the land, and the support from the emergency people, to the fire department, to the sheriffs and the police department. We really appreciate that. We had, last year, we had almost 2,200 people come through down here between the mentally challenged on Thursday. I have 12 nursing homes coming this year, most of them from Pickens County, a couple from down in Cherokee, and then of course the Kids Day on Saturday, and we served somewhere between 12 and 1,300 hot dogs last year.
Are you going to spend the night there and take the fish the night before?
We most certainly are. The game wardens get tired about dark and they want to go home. And between the critters and the pilchers that we've had down there over the years, we have to guard the creek at night.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And like I said, anything we can do to help, let us know.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Cagle. Item B, we have with us tonight the Sheriff of Pickens County, Mr. Donnie Craig. Donnie, if you would come forth, and John, if you will, and it's going to be another photo session. On behalf, I'm going to recognize you, Donnie, let you tell why you're here.
Okay, first of all, I've been in office for 8 years. First opportunity that I've had to come before the mayor and the council, and would like to take just a minute to thank y'all for the cooperation and everything you guys have done for the sheriff's office. I know we get involved in a lot of things across the county and sometimes other places. I never one time picked up the phone and called anybody at the city of Jasper, whether it be the work crews, the water department, you folks with the police department, fire department, or anybody else, that your staff has not always been there to help us. A lot of times the mayor's sitting in the back thinking, oh my God, what's he want now? Because we do get into a lot of different things outside the sheriff's office. And one of those things that we've done over the past 8 years, for 5 years in a row now, is been G-Fest. So what we want to do is come in on behalf of the sheriff's, or the Pickens County Sheriff's Foundation, is to present a check to the city council and the mayor for $5,000.
Jasper Youth Sports
This
Association.
is,
If
again,
you will, Mr. Donnie, we're not gonna take long to take your check. We did help the sheriff quite a bit this year with his fishing rodeo, same as Jeep rodeo, Jeep Fest, and he was gracious enough to pay this money, give this money to our most needed charity, and that's JYSA. So thank you, Donnie, we appreciate that. And we'll take this photo just like this. And John, since you're Mr. Youth Association man, I'd like to let you hold that check as well with him for a photo session.
well, all right, well, thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Donnie, really appreciate it. And the sheriff and his group and all the volunteers with Jasper Jeep, our Pickens Jeep Fest now, it's not actually inside the corporate anymore, do a great job. And Donnie, you didn't tell us, how many people came to Pickens County with your Jeep Fest?
We had registered participants with the Jeeps, and
Stand up for me, will you please? I'm gonna get a little bit more out of it.
we had roughly 2,000 registered last year, and so far each year it has doubled each year. Of course, I think we pretty close come to capacity at our new location. We are moving some things around as far as camping and things like that.
Already at capacity there?
But we estimated probably around 8 to 10,000 people came through this past year, which allowed us, towards the end of last year, the foundation donated $140,000 to local charities involving children, which are the proceeds from Jeep Fest. And again, we couldn't do it without your help.
And the Sheriff's Association, you make
Yeah, we do. We donated a portion, usually about 25%, to the Georgia Sheriff Youth Homes.
Is it true that you're the #1 supporter or fundraiser for the Sheriff's Home?
I would say we're actually, we don't donate more money than anybody else. We just host the largest event of any other sheriff in Georgia.
Okay.
So,
Well, it's quite an event for people who don't totally understand the Jeep Fest and what's going on in Pickens County. It's quite a boost in our economic arm that particular weekend. And when he moved to the Marble Hill area, it took a lot of traffic out of the city, but I think the businesses did well because most of the traffic is from the Tate House to the Georgia Marble Company. Quite a large number of vehicles traveling in and around Pickens County. And Donnie, we appreciate the effort.
thank you.
Absolutely.
Appreciate all your help.
Thank you. Item C, pump purchase for Indian Forest. Mr. Hall.
Evening, Mayor and Council. Tonight I would like to come before y'all bids that we have received we actually contacted 3 companies, but only received 2 bids for Indian Forest Lift Station. I think y'all remember this, we had problems with this station last year also. Some of the bids that come in were for a smaller motor this time. They're saying that they think that the 30 horsepower motors will probably work out better, being that the transformers at this location are the size that they are, that the 30 horse motors would work better than the 40s that I approached y'all with last year. And that's why we're showing the bids from the 2 companies, the 2 out of the 3 that did bid. That's the prices, and we would like tonight, with council approval, go with the 33 horsepower from James Electric, which is the low bid.
Okay, does council have a copy of that?
We do.
Okay. Would entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept the low bid from James Electric for purchase of a 33 horsepower motor for Indian Forest Lift Station.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, you're basically going to lose 7 horsepower. Is it going to hurt you?
No, they said on the pump curve that it actually worked better. We bid it out, for the 250 gallon per minute at the 180 total dynamic head. And they said on the curve that the 33s would actually work better than the 40, that it was more in the curve that it would achieve the 250 gallon per minute.
To power the transmissions.
Yes.
Have a motion. Need a second. Motion second. Any discussion? Any more discussion?
Have we, this Chinese Electric, have we had any dealing with them in the past?
Yes, sir, they do all of our rebuilds and stuff, yeah, and the motors that we're buying, we already have one of them that's in there at the 40. And that's when we approached, because a lot of the people coming that were bidding it said, hey, the transformers you got are not big enough for the 40. Have you, checked in to maybe go into a smaller size? And in the past, all of them have told us that, we needed the 40. But both of these companies say that their pumps will do the 250 at 180 total dynamic head, so that's what we're looking to achieve.
Any further discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hands. Thank you, David, that's unanimous. Thank you, sir. And hang around, I got one more item for you. No, you can sit down, I'll bring you back. I got you out of seat. I meant not run out the door. Item D, speed breakers. Mayor Weaver, that would be me. And I've been speaking with a couple of our council members who are concerned with the curve on Ridgewood, that people have a tendency to not slow down for that 90-degree turn. And I'd like to recognize Jim Looney. If you would, take the lead for me and discuss what you see there on a regular basis and see if we can get some discussion.
Greg, can you add something to this too? Would you mind?
Greg, would you come forward?
Sure. What I have seen, being a resident of Ridgewood, is particularly coming off of Cove or Burnt Mountain Road, going toward the, what used to be Lexington Components, it's not their name any longer, but coming toward the plant there. A lot of vehicles losing, way I'm seeing it, losing their tires off the side of the road in the turn, over controlling and ending up on the opposite side of the road in the bank.
It was about 2 months ago, wasn't it?
Less than that,
Less
when
than
they
that.
tore up the lawn so
Yard.
badly.
We've, in my 20 years here, we've had several accidents there. Usually it's, luckily, just one car, but on occasion, we've had a head-on collision there. I
We
think
had a city vehicle hit there at one time.
Yeah, we've had several that they're either, like you said, they run off the road and overcorrect, or they're just simply into the curve too fast. Seen it happen when it's wet as well, and seen it when it happens when it's dry. So a lot of people use that as a cut through. But seeing this correct in that certain curve, there's a problem area as far as motor vehicle accidents.
And it is going from Burnt Mountain to
53.
53.
Yes, sir. Almost
Primarily.
About 90% of the time.
Well, it's not only that, it's a lot of, when the school lets out, the school traffic
Oh, it's a
through
cut
there
through. Oh, yeah.
is really bad, and it's the speed. I actually had a lady last year, I actually had a lady pass me at about 40 miles an hour in the curve. Another car coming, no telling what would happen. I mean, actually in the curve, not in the straightaway in front of my house or Miss Brock's house, but actually in the curve. And she actually worked for the 911 center.
Late to work.
That's exactly what it was.
Can't emerge.
They poured election day.
But with that, now what we don't want, Councilman Looney, Mr. Looney, is that you and I have talked, we don't want to, we recognize the danger in that curve, and we just don't want to put speed breakers at random all over the city just because we can. And that's why we're discussing the speed breakers here. Could you address that just a little bit as to what we would want to do there? We've tried patrol, we've set people over there.
Well, I think that's one of the things that we need to mention. We have talked about patrolling the area, but there's not enough straight
It's hard for us
road
to get
for them to
accurate.
use their, for the police department to use the radar.
Matter of fact, I don't think the state permitted it. It's too curvy. It's like Squaw Valley.
If we're straight, we wouldn't have a problem. Understanding that straightening that road is not much of a possibility.
No.
I think what we're talking about tonight, and it's on the agenda as saying speed bumps. I don't know that that's our speed breakers. I don't know that that's the solution, but I sure think it's something we need to be talking about and finding out what the solution is.
If we put speed breakers up, one on each end, because you can actually crash trying to go right versus left, so You can't just stop it going one direction if it's 90 degree in both directions. It's not quite 90, but it's close.
Well, I've yet to see an accident coming from 53 to Burnt Mountain Road.
But if you don't put them across, people
They're
will cross
just
the
gonna
double
go
line and go
around.
around to avoid them, I promise you.
What do they do at the hospital?
That's what will happen. You just put them on one side of the road.
Well, I'm talking about two. One.
They won't do it more than once.
I think the mayor's talking about coming from
Westbound and
one side of
eastbound.
the curve, one on both ends of the curve, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
Some,
To go across both lanes?
the desired footage away from it that would actually have you start so that you wouldn't speed up enough to lose control of your vehicle going in the other direction. But with that, we would need to, if approved by council, we would need to acquire the proper signage. Obviously, get it spec'd by the DOT to make sure we have it signed and laid to DOT specifications so that we don't put ourselves in a liability situation if it were to cause or be the potential cause of an accident. So we could research that and have that done with a motion of council this evening. So, and if they don't work, and we can always take them back out, so.
Well, again, let's go back. Is speed breakers the only solution? Is there something else out there that can be done?
There's all kinds of solutions, I guess. I mean, y'all toyed with the fact that it is.
No, that's not a solution.
I mean,
It's not what some people like.
Well, we've still got to use that road because the traffic during school will back up to Ace Hardware if no people are not feeding off trying to get to Burnt Mountain that way. It does take quite a bit of traffic. Now, we do have plans in the future to build somewhat of a bypass along the railroad going up Pine Street, but that's a couple of years out if we're able to pull the funding with the SPLOST together. But it's a priority that's going to happen probably at least 2 years from now. I don't see it jumping up because we still have roads that need to be paved but we can start planning for that. And I know we have the opportunity to get the property, 90% of it easement free. Yes, and so that's later, but we still, even with that road, we like to encourage traffic, but every road that we can get from 53 to Burnt Mountain area, I wish we had 5 roads, not just one. Anything to keep the traffic out of the intersection of Burnt Mountain and 53.
That's our biggest problem, that's the only one we got.
I know, so if we had another, it would give some relief for everybody. So, but I think a motion, and we'll start to work. And I saw this morning on the news where, or I think it was yesterday in a sermon where the preacher said that he was worried about the speed bump in front of his property. He put a tree up where the sign was going to go, and 2 years later, the city finally shows up to put the sign up, and it wasn't where the tree was. So, but we could start moving in that direction, and if we bail later, it's going to take quite a while to get everything in place for that area. We have had speed breakers in the city on Georgiana, and with the new paving, they're gone, but we may need to readdress those because we have intersections and people going downhill, and we can't sit there and patrol 24/7 to control that.
I think we had them on Ridgewood.
We've had them on Ridgewood, and the first thing I tore out with all the neighborhood wanted me to do is get rid of those speed breakers.
Yeah, they used to be there years ago.
Speed breakers are no fun. I'd rather do anything than cross a speed breaker personally. But if we're having accidents in that area and we have witnesses saying it's
I've got a concern it's also dangerous for people walking on that road.
I personally won't walk out our street. I think Charlotte Fortner's son got in a head-on collision right there through the driveway a couple of summers ago.
Yeah.
We're going to have other people wanting speed breakers, but I think we're going to need to set a standard where you have to have a certain amount of accidents improved just because you have a long straight, a long straight we can patrol with radar. But this one we can't, and we have had the number of accidents in that area. I think that would warrant your speed breaker. But I need a motion.
When you look at the breaker, are you talking about something with the noise strips on it, vibrate, I'm
I have a warning.
what I'm looking for is not to tear up everybody's transmission that lives on Ridgewood and has to, or front end alignment.
Well, the speed breaker,
Travel this
the speed breaker that I dislike the most is the one that's a rubber bump.
The tabletop.
No, this is a rubber bump that's about 4 foot by 8 inches, 4 inches by 8 inches, or 6 by 8. And when you hit it, if you don't stop for it, it's a terrible lick. But if it's signed properly and you have to stop for it, you can't, the one very similar to white paint.
Well, if we get a motion to approve this, we're basically gonna look into it, and then when we decide, we can decide on what we wanna put in place, is that right?
Okay, because we want to have signage, and signage is going to be in front of people's yards, and it does create a distraction for someone that has a sign that's the perfect footage from the location. And if you vary from that very much, you're putting yourself in somewhat risk with driving public. If there was an accident, you may, some good lawyer might twist it that the city of Jasper was at fault, so.
Well, I'll make a motion that we look into putting in the speed bumper, but I want to say about putting the noise-making strips, the warning strips before them. That way,
Rumble strips.
the rumble strips, that way if they don't see them signs, because people so immune to signs anymore, but when them things scream, it scares the crap out of it.
Well, also, rumble strips wakes up your neighbors.
People don't like that.
Yeah, because when they put these ones down here, we got a call of unknown trouble noise.
People don't like
Some
that.
elderly woman in Jasper Heights, and she kept tearing like a bear growl over and over. Turned out it was like, oh.
So would you want me to table this until we do further explain what it's going to encompass, or do you want to make a motion to?
Can the street department come up with some ideas that we can talk about?
I will personally work on it myself to come up with some ideas.
I'm very comfortable with that, let's table it.
Okay?
See
For
what
folks,
you come up with.
okay. Motion to table.
So move.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? Being none, all in favor, with show of hands. It'll be old business next month.
Fine, so.
Okay. Next up.
Thank you.
Next item is item E, asphalt spreader purchase. I don't know if the council had an opportunity to look at the asphalt spreader that we finally have on location. It is not purchased. The piece of equipment is actually shipped from Washington State. This piece of equipment is a 5-foot spreader with ability to spread to 9 feet. It is a piece of equipment that can be used first and foremost for patching the roads where the city of Jasper cut on a regular basis for water repair. We can use this to patch lengths of alligatoring on our streets. Even though we're in the process of paving, some of these streets need to be patched prior to, example, the Cove Road. We could have done a lot with a spreader prior to now, instead of putting a cold patch in that usually wrinkles up and creates more of a bump than you had prior. Its main use down the road will be to pave our trails that we want to build, the one from Arbor Hills. We can resurface our paths at Lee Newton Park and at the City Park. We can also, with this piece of equipment, I wouldn't want to pave a large project, but we could pave the parking lots, the ball fields. We could finish the pavement back where we tore it up at the upper field. The list goes on, and with our efforts of resurfacing, cleaning our ditches, this piece of equipment would be a valuable piece of inventory for the City of Jasper Street Department. And the price of this piece of equipment is $50,000. The piece of equipment, I think, on the market would easily sell for $60,000, $65,000 if it were to be put back on the market. And first of all, you can't find one. We've been looking for one for about 4 years, anywhere near this price. So, anyway, this piece of equipment is needed by the city of Jasper, and I would entertain a motion. Oh, it'll also be paid for through the SPLOST fund.
Make a motion that the city purchase the asphalt spreader.
I got a motion to approve the asphalt spreader purchase.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Discussion? Go ahead and say it, Allison, you beat me, Jim beat you, I beat you to it.
Thank you for saying where the funds are coming from.
Okay. Any other discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hands. Thank you, council. Okay, next item is a continuation of that purchase. An asphalt spreader trailer. I have
Purchase it. We'll leave it out in the parking lot.
If you're gonna be in the paving
They're not
business,
throwing that in the spreader.
if you're gonna be in the paving business, well, it's a separate
We got
purchase.
a compactor down here too, we're not finished yet.
I'm not good. The asphalt trailer, I found one, it's a brand new, and the price tag was $7,700. I asked the gentleman, would he consider $6,600, and he said no, that was the price that they took, and he was not willing to negotiate. But with that, that was the type we want, but it rolls back. The spreader can't buck like this and go up. It has to go up a gradual incline. But I believe we can find one less expensive. But if the council would approve at least a purchase of $7,700, I know we can find what we want. And if we save anything, that will be excellent.
Will it come out of sponsors?
It will also come out of lots. It'll be part of the equipment purchase.
Do we need a motion not to exceed $7,700?
If you want, that would work.
I make a motion that we approve an asphalt spreader trailer not to exceed the amount of $7,700.
Have a motion?
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hands. Thank you, council. Next item, we're going to need an asphalt roller. Item G, don't really have a good price on one yet, but what I'd like to have is the same type motion that Tony just used for $15,000. And we're looking for one in the neighborhood of 4 to 5 ton. We don't need a massive roller. The one we had, the old surplus, blew up the other day on the baseball field when we were rolling in the outfields. But and it's just as well because I told John that thing was awfully dangerous, and I was kind of happy to see it go. But that being said, I would need the opportunity to at least use $15,000, and if we can't buy for that, we won't buy it. We'll borrow it from the county.
Make a motion that you look for a asphalt roller compactor purchase not to exceed $15,000.
Have a motion?
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion?
Again, the money's gonna come from Sportsman.
Yes, ma'am. And presently, okay, any other discussion? Being all in favor, vote by show of hands. Thank you, council.
You got a trailer for that?
That's gonna roll with the other one. Because we'll roll,
Oh, okay.
it'll ride with the other.
2 for 1 on that.
2 for 1. I was wondering, we're gonna have to.
Well, we could use a smaller trailer.
That's-
Okay,
you go.
next item is item H. This is a heck of an expenditure tonight, council. Mr. Hall. Council, I received a call the other evening from Ms. Fortner, who was at Hunter's Ridge with David, and we had an emergency. Where we had a line rupture or blowout, and the work crew was there with David, and I never got there. So David, if you will, tell the council what happened and what we need to do to repair it.
We actually have the hot tap that they made on the main line at Hunter's Ridge to put in the new tank at Hunter's Ridge. You know, we had the small 22,000 gallon tank that was up there, the brown one, and then we built a 200,000 gallon storage tank beside it. And whenever they done that, they only put the hot tap in. They didn't put another valve up to cut off the green tank. We can cut off the brown tank, which is nothing in it anyway, but we can't cut off the green tank. The only valve we have to cut it off is the hot tap valve, and that valve is the one leaking. So if we don't put in a hydrostop or something to cut off the tank, then we'll have to drain the tank slowly without washing the mountainside away. And we'll probably have an interruption in service up to possibly a whole day.
That would be every house in Hunter's Ridge.
And probably Arbor Hills also.
Oh, that's right.
So
How long a process is it?
the hydrostop that we're looking at getting will be able to fix the leak and, you know, close the valve, fix the leak, put it back in service and hopefully maybe even avoid a boil water, but probably not. But if everything goes, great, then you may even be able to avoid, a boil water, but, more likely you'll be under boil water, but everybody will still have water. Without, doing that, we're looking at, the time we take the tank out offline, drain it, get it down, fix this leak, put it back online, you could be looking at 24 hours.
People have one.
Yes, completely.
And with the valve, inline valve, we can do this surgically and not put anybody out of
Yeah,
water.
with the hydrostop valve, we can dig down, get it ready for them. They come in, put in the hydrostop. The hydrostop valve then will be our cutoff valve, and we can cut it off there. We can cut off the pump station, cut it off at Hunter's Ridge and Lumber Company. Hunter's Ridge Road, I think it is, it goes by the tank. Cut those three things off, and we can fix it relatively quickly.
Okay.
But with having the tank on us, then,
Okay.
it's gonna be a long, affair trying to do that.
Okay, now what kind of cost are we talking about for this valve to be put in?
It's around 5,000. That's with us doing all the labor and stuff, getting it ready. It's probably half that's probably labor and half of it, is actual material.
Okay. Now, how many people are in this business to do this, that you dealt with?
I've only dealt with one. I don't know, exactly how many. I mean, we can get a couple of bids if that's what y'all would like.
Well, we probably need to try to get the best price we can,
Okay.
but what we're saying, council, this could happen, could blow out before the next council meeting.
Oh, yeah.
If it does, we're gonna be in an emergency situation.
Yeah, the
We're
gas
able to stabilize it.
completely gone. Where they put it together, the gasket's completely gone, and this is slowly going around it, so eventually it's gonna be, the whole gasket gone.
Anything else have to melt with it, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Do you think if you talk to anybody else, money-wise, how close are we
It's
talking?
very close.
Hundreds of dollars, maybe. I mean, you may be 4,800 versus 4,500 or something, I don't
That's
know.
worth
The
the
people,
risk.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's,
the people that I'm sure you've dealt with in the past, if we did it again, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know the difference.
What company do you have, David?
It's through Shane Harwood. I'm not for sure of the company's name. They do all of our taps for us though, but they also do hydrostops.
Yeah. And they're our regular provider.
Yeah. They didn't do this one that's leaking, but they have done some parts in the past.
Okay, so council, I would like for a motion to approve up to 5,000 without having to have an emergency meeting for more. I think we can, hope the
are you
contract's not
comfortable
low
with
with.
5,000, or do you think you need a little bit more?
No, that'd be plenty.
I think the people at Hunter's Ridge
Would
probably
appreciate
would
it.
appreciate it, just not different over.
Actually, all the way to Walmart, it'd be back to that point, around behind Walmart anyway. So it gets, we ran that water line quite a ways off of Arbor Hills, Hunter's Ridge when we ran it.
What about 600 meters?
Yeah.
I think we're in an emergency situation. I make a motion, we approve the emergency purchase of 5,000, no more than $5,000
Without council.
without coming back to council.
Okay. Well, so I got a motion,
Second.
second, any discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hands. Thank you, council, thank you, David, for being here this evening.
Thank you.
Those are the good tonight.
Okay, the next item, item I is
Let's stay.
contract payable to Lee Mullins. Council, in your folders, you have a copy of the original agreement dated 12th of December 2005, where the city of Jasper finished the project known as the sewer line to Polecat Creek, later to be known as the racetrack. And during that time, that project started in 1998, and after lawsuits with the county, well, on the side of the county against the developer at the time, trying to decide whose service delivery this area was, it was finally decided that it was the city of Jasper's, and that we were to be the provider, hence we were able to annex to Polecat Creek, and that's how the racetrack is in the city. But that racetrack didn't just come in the city because we had to run sewer to that area, and at that particular time without fire protection. We just recently, last year before last, got the fire protection in the area. But anyway, to make a long story short, the city of Jasper had 8 or 9 private developers who put in, was it 50,000 or 75,000? I'm trying to say both. 75,000. And the city ended up with around 800,000 donated by property owners along that area who wanted sewer on their property. And make a long story short, 800,000 didn't cover it. We started the project, we had GFA money, and we didn't have enough GFA money in order to do it. And at the end of the day, we ended up with some $700,000 outstanding to pay the contractor who put it all in, and that was Lee Mullins and M&M Contracting. The number was $700,000 plus. I think it's in your $779,885. Mr. Mullins at that particular time was doing pretty well in the construction business, and he agreed to take half of our cost construction aid from future developers who wanted to then step up to the plate and buy a sewer tile. And let it be said that not everybody who owned property down 515 paid $75,000. There were several large tracts of land that didn't pay. Let it be known also that the racetrack and Sackett's and Trouts and all those businesses along that particular area were able to develop because that was put in, and it was to much the benefit of Mr. Copeland and Mr. Mullins and Mr. Moore and a few other people who actually went ahead and built. Mr. Jones, Greg Jones, he actually was party to this, had to bore in the road, provided sewer to his property, but the economy kind of turned south about that time and nothing particular happened, and property across the road who was supposed to tile later. Anyway, a long history. All this accumulated in 2005 with the completion of the system, and Mr. Mullins agreed to accept the contract with the city of Jasper that he would take his $779,000 when we sold tiles. And over the years, Mr. Mullins, we were able to subtract from this number quite a bit from outside the realm of the contract, but Mr. Mullins had taxes due, he had water bills due, and we were able over the years to reduce $779,885.15 down to $334,498.09. And some weeks back, I contacted Mr. Mullins and looking at this number and looking at how this contract skewed and made somewhat a difficult issue for our audits and paperwork in general, and asked him would he take a number, and I offered $100,000. Mr. Mullins told me to get back with me, and Friday he did. And that's why this was a late item on your agenda, and he agreed to accept $158,676.38. That number covers $150,000 cash to be paid to Mr. Mullins, which the money would, if the council agrees, come from our investment fund. And we have a larger number in our investment fund than that. I don't really want to tell it without an open record request. But anyway, so it wouldn't hurt us very much. And I'm going to let Lisa explain a little bit at this time what it's going to do to our profit loss numbers.
Well, since the payable was set up so many years ago, what this would be is a debt forgiveness at this. So it would actually, in this year, show as an income, a miscellaneous income. Cash flow wise, it really won't make a difference because we're using the investment fund, which we did not budget. You know, it's been sitting there.
So it increases the equity in the water department.
It'll increase the fund balance.
But with that, we would be able to remove this debt from our record. This system would be paid for on the private sector side. I think we still have some GFA loan against it. But I told Mr. Mullins when we were negotiating this, there will be people wanting to pay the $75,000 in the near future. But I think it's also been some of the reasons why, with the economy as it is, we have not grown in that area more than we have. So we, as the council, will be able to dictate the capital fees, and the parties that paid the $75,000, they've had sewer for over 11 years, maybe 11 years at their property. If they've done anything with it, they've had a head start. But with that being said, this line would be free for development and without any claims against it. And that would be the plus for us, plus for Mullins. He would get some of his money back now versus waiting for someone to come in 5, 10 years from now, and after much consideration, Mr. Mullins agreed. You would entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we pay Mr. Mullins, 150 was the forgiven.
Go ahead and say the 158 and we'll delete that.
Okay.
But we need to write checks back and forth to pay that for bookkeeping purposes.
No,
Okay.
we'll only write that one check for,
Just the
Just,
one.
and
just
then
the
it's
total.
everything else will be a write-off.
Okay, that was the motion she made. Can you make that motion more clear for your purposes for,
Motion to write Mr. Mullins a check for $150,000 and to forgive his prior tax bills from 2011 to 2015,
Right.
which will be an accounting entry on our books,
Right.
and his outstanding water bills for 2015 through the present time.
okay, and Bill, with you, I talked to you earlier about this, we would need to supersede our original contract. So we'll write that up, and it'll actually be, the contract will be rewritten to supersede this one. We'll sign that, myself, if the council gives permission, put it in the record, and we move forward. Okay. Any other discussion?
The 75,000 that's required for the town fees, is that set just as a general, regardless of what the development is, regardless what size tract of land, or?
Not really, because it would actually affect the smaller tract, because, and it would actually prevent it unless this was cleared up more detail, because right now it says anybody wanting to tie on would have to pay the 75,000. So to get that removed, when I first took office, there was a 10,000 tap-on fee for anything on 515, which in 1992 hindered growth tremendously. No one really wanted to pay the tap-on fee. And the people who made the original investment, their property was immediately more valuable, but the large tract of land at 108 North,
Right.
they did not pay. They had a large tract of land, but they had no plans to develop their property. They held it for a retirement package, and they didn't really want to pay it. But in the future, someone will buy that property and want to tie into that sewer that runs through that property. So it's going to make a lot of things a lot clearer. We'll simply have our unless council changes these otherwise, but I think we're trying to defeat a purpose. We want to make the sewer affordable in that area. And so, does that answer your question somewhat?
The city would be able to set, the council would be able to set a new rate for any time.
If we wanted to, if we wanted to
So
charge more, we
your
could.
new agreement would void whatever, with the language that's in this current agreement.
Any other discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hands. Did I get a second? We made the motion.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any other discussion? I got the discussion. I'm gonna look at that. Motion, discussion. Any other discussion? Being none, all in favor, vote by show of hands. Thank you, Councilman.
Should we have treatment in the high school watching us tonight? We break every Robert's rule of order.
That was very well done. Okay, item J. Amy, are you representing the farmer's market?
I'm gonna let Jenna represent. I'm
Is Jenna
sorry
here?
that she's not here yet. She just sent message that, she's right in the middle of her busy time.
Well,
at
I'm telling you,
restaurant, So I apologize.
you're going to represent her. Step forward.
I don't know the correct verbiage, I'm sorry. I'm gonna pre-apologize, because this was her little baby,
She
I'm
would come to
sorry.
council meeting.
I tell you what.
We're glad
Council,
you're here.
thank you for having me. And I'm so sorry that I don't know the correct verbiage to say. I will represent Jenna on behalf of the Downtown Alliance. So, it says farmer's market on our agenda. And let me clarify that this is not a proposal to compete with our current farmer's market. So let that be known. We need to change the verbiage of that. Jenna has proposed beside her restaurant in the green space that
The
be
local hospital property.
Old Roper Hospital. She says farmer's market. She said an invite only, 8 little tents of something. I mean, she had mentioned like the Tom Seafood, a little ice cream trailer, just some little small, not a big yard sale, free-for-all trade show, just a small something to have on Wednesday nights. And again, I apologize, I'm not sure of the time. I think she said 4 to 8, something like that, when she presented it to the Downtown Alliance. We thought it was a nice idea to use our green space in downtown Jasper. Couldn't get off that easy. To utilize our downtown green spaces a little bit more. That area just sits kind of empty. Hopefully council will approve something, write that up officially, whatever we need to do.
Let me help you out just a little bit.
Thank you, Mayor Weaver.
And, well, you did good, you did great. And a couple of years ago, I actually approached the farmer's market trying to stimulate traffic in the downtown area. And I thought, it'd be worth our time if we were to commit 8 or 9 parking spaces on Main Street for vendors to back in and be able to sell their wares on the sidewalks in the city of Jasper. But the farmer's market didn't like that idea. So it pretty much died for lack of interest. So Jenna came in the other night out of the blue, and I hadn't had any conversation with Jenna, and evidently brilliant minds work alike. And so she thought, and she presented this to the Alliance, and I told her she would need to bring it to council. And the liability on this, which I think most council are going to be concerned about, would be the only issue. And my position was that your meeting is, as long as we don't charge and create something that we could create a lawsuit. Mr. Pickens, I'm looking at you now. Is there anything that we need to do otherwise?
Don't think so.
Okay. Because if we charge and we create a hazard, but if they are able to use it because it's public property at the restrictions of the city council, I think that's what we're talking about. So it'd be a neat thing to see if it works, because we're trying to do most anything to stimulate traffic in the central business district.
It would be nice to even have a farmer's market in the evenings. So many people work when it's going on.
When it's on Saturdays, that's right. So, I mean, if the current farmer's market wants to work and submit a couple of things, we use the verbiage, juried tents, where they present what they want to Jenna, and she would be the contact. She said she would be the contact.
For discussion, and sure don't want to jump off this bridge at this time, it would be nice, because we have people all over Jasper come summer selling watermelons, tomatoes, and I travel all over looking for the watermelons and tomatoes. And if we were able not to permanently dedicate this, but allow, if Jenna's project works, that this would be the area where, instead of somebody having to go ask, not that Johnny Brock cares or one way or the other, but they set up in his parking lot. I don't think that draws people to sell or buy more lumber. But it might be that we could probably designate an area for the foreseeable future if this works, because I think it really would enhance traffic into the city of Jasper. We don't create traffic jams, but we've got to figure out a way to find more parking. And I think the parking lot next door, we know the owners of that, they may allow these people to use their parking.
Amy, what months are you just looking for? Summer months?
She was hoping to start in May.
Well,
The first Wednesday
First
in May.
in
I think
May,
May
and just carry it through September, October sometime.
Yeah, through the end of the
Then,
fall.
yeah, let's do it for some, pick a month, do it through September, or do it through September, and we'll.
Yeah,
Time change.
I think maybe-
Or you could do it longer.
Well, we could revisit council, and that way we'd have some control over it, and we would like to also in this, if we don't like it, it creates a problem, be able to say, no, we're gonna take our offer back. That would be in our agreement
In
with
the Downtown
the Alliance.
Alliance, thank you, is responsible for it. I don't have a bit of a problem with that.
Okay.
So we're giving the Downtown Alliance the opportunity through the chamber to give her permission to do that.
That sounds great.
We'll give the Downtown Allowance permission to use it, I think it's all we're doing.
Okay, can I get that in form of a motion?
I make a motion that we allow Downtown Alliance Association to use the Old River Hospital property for a Wednesday evening farmer's market until we find a better name,
Correct.
continuing through September of this year.
I get a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any further discussion?
Tell me again what kind of stuff you want to have.
She has a list of invite only to start with. Tom Seafood, like a sherbet lady who makes homemade sherbets. Not to discredit the current, but kind of an upscale vendor. It just, she said originally farmer's market, but with a couple of little small.
I think she's going to bring a few things
More of an
out,
outdoor
not off of there. We're not-
Yeah, and wherever she gets her, the grass-fed beef,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I don't know the correct part, but she knows all of that.
but it was more
Wolf
of things
Scratch
that the farmer's
Farms.
market doesn't offer at this point.
Oh,
that she
Maybe
was
something
doing.
that the farmer's market did not offer.
Yeah, that was
Thank you.
kind of more.
You don't make the south end of town very busy, I think.
Something upscale and nice
See
and,
something like that in the evening where we could have an opportunity.
She's just going to need to open so we can have a place to eat after we go
I
shopping.
think that's a great idea.
Right.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, vote by show of hands. Thank you, Councilman. Very good job.
Thank you, Amy. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay. Under Mayor's Report, Economic Development, Gerry Nechvatal.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to you again this month. And first thing I want to mention is that the traffic enhancement study that you approved payment on has moved forward. We had the first meeting. Kimberly Horn, about 3 representatives came out on Friday and started the process by doing a community visit. They met with several individuals, including the mayor and representatives of the Downtown Alliance. And they will take the information that they gathered and they will start formulating the plan. And the next stop also will include a town hall type meeting where the public can come out and see some of the things that they've worked on. So that's moving forward very well. Kind of along those lines, tomorrow night at the County Administrative Building at 6:30 p.m. there is a town hall open meeting for the public, and it is related to the proposed conceptual design of mountain bike trails at the Talking Rock Nature Preserve. So this is another thing that is moving forward, and again, the first step is to create a conceptual plan. Then the next step will be to seek funding to actually, build the trails that are designed. But there are different types of mountain bike trails, and again, this is the opportunity for the public to come out and talk to the company that's going to be doing the actual design and give input as to what they would like to see. The other thing I want to share this evening, a little bit of a commercial thing. There were some rumors floating around about an Aldi's moving into the Piggly Wiggly space, and although Aldi's came out a couple of years ago and actually had an option on a piece of property, and as much as we like to see new things, that turns out to not be something that's actually happening. There's also a rumor kind of going around about the drive-in and maybe some issue with that, and I'll share a little bit of a funny story, a quick one. A lot of people were concerned because the theater coming soon sign was taken down off the property. And I asked the property owner about that, and what had happened was they acquired the property next door. There's a driveway there. People had been going up there and dumping trash and things. And while they were out there working, they decided they needed to very quickly chain that off. So they took the post from the sign to use to put the chain across the driveway so people will quit dumping trash. So that is still moving forward. The sign was just repurposed for something else in the short term. The last thing I want to share with you, and this kind of goes along with the drive-in, but the entertainment opportunities have just ramped up tremendously. I mean, we have 2 major motion pictures that are looking around. One last week, it was described, I wasn't able to attend, but they said a small bus pulled up and about 30 people came out and looked at the location, and that's always very positive. That means that the production company is really considering the location and they're looking at it in detail. And again, I think people would, if that happens, I think people will be very excited about that. A couple other ones, the one that still plans to film this summer in the city for about 2 months, that's moving forward very positively. And then we had an opportunity to send in some locations for a new TV series that aired on Fox this year. They need a lot of outdoor venues, and I'm right now putting together the proposed locations to send to them. And you know, I think we stand a very good chance. I'm sure there's a lot of communities with a lot of very nice, interesting outdoor areas, but I think that's one that we have a good chance for, and where we get economic return out of that is that production has 150 people that come into town, and they need to have lodging and be fed and everything else, and then they're in the community for 2 months. So if we were able to entice them to come to our community, that's the type of opportunity that we're really looking for, because you get a very good economic return. So that's all I have for this evening, unless there are some questions that I'll be glad to answer.
Questions, council? Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jerry. I'm glad the figure of the situation cleared up.
Yeah.
Finance report, Lisa?
In your packet, you have a copy of the financial report for March of 2016. And we are under budget at this time in all departments. We received in local option sales tax for the February sales in March, $79,624, which compares to $77,611 last year at the same time. SPOS money, we have at this time $41,388 in the old SPOS, the 2008 SPOS. In the 2014 SPOS fund, we received $61,979 in the March for February sales. Total cash now in that fund at this time is $656,812. And we have one project we're going to open bids on April 13th. And I don't know what that will come in at, but water fund, sanitation fund, we're in good shape so far this year. Y'all have any questions?
That total you gave us for SPOS fund, is it the 2014 and the prior one total? Or
2014, we've got $656,800. And what's left in the old 2008 SPOS, we've got $41,388. That's after we purchased that radar.
That is after we
Get
purchased.
rid of that account.
So we need to get rid
So
of
we'll get
that
back on local.
before we get to
The new 9,000. We won't lose anything then.
oh, you won't use it for the equipment.
Yeah. Get rid of it.
All right.
Anything else, council, to Miss Lisa? Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Lisa.
Animal control and other, Lonnie, they even talked about paving projects. And FEMA and GEMA.
Mayor and council. I've had 16 calls this last month. They're actually scattered all over the county, but it's just people's pets are starting to roam in the spring, and so that's the only issues with animal control. We have let out bids for research in Arbor Hills and Hood Park. Those bids will be open April 13th here at City Hall. I think at 1 o'clock is the time. And we've had several companies that have contacted us and discussed things, and making sure that everybody's on the same page with the bids, and it looks like there's going to be quite a bit of interest in it, so we're hoping to get some good bids out of it.
Okay. And for the council's information, efforts we've been doing, and you've been doing on the Cove Road project with the LeMig.
Yes, we did turn in the LeMig, and I think, Lisa, we've got the check from it for to resurface Cove Road, and it looks like, we're going to be very soon, maybe this week, releasing the bid on that, and set a date for those bids to be in. So we're just right now doing the final tweaks of the contract and making sure everything's the way we want it, and then we'll be sending those out.
And real quick, with David's help, what's going on at Cove Creek with after the storm and our efforts to retrieve money from FEMA and GEMA?
Okay, and the rains that we got right at Christmas, the reservoir area down at the Cove Creek has filled full of sedimentation.
Council, before he goes on, we were already in process of getting permits through Ben Turnipseed, and this has just augmented the issue.
And then we met with, I went to a meeting up in Gilmer County with FEMA. I've had FEMA and GEMA both here. I've spent most of the day with them one way or the other. And they are pushing for, trying to help us get the permits through EPD and Corps engineers and everybody to do an emergency clean out. We can clean out 25 cubic yards or up to 100 feet on an emergency clean out. And this will expedite the mayor and the city of Jasper as a issuing authority. We'll have to declare this an emergency, and then that will expedite all permits. I've been in touch with the Corps of Engineers, Ben Turnipseed, Soil Erosion, Limestone Valley, all those places today. Everybody's on board with trying to make this move forward. It's just a matter of, the engineers indicated that since everybody was, moving in the same direction, we might possibly have all our permits by the end of the week. And if we do that, then FEMA and GEMA, we've got to produce some paperwork for them and, get all of their questions answered. And then we can move forward and possibly move as much as 200 feet up the stream with also removing all brush and debris and everything. And this will help our entire water outtake of Cove Creek.
Okay, for council's information, the big issue is heavy equipment in the stream bucket. One law says you can't do it, so that pretty much covers cities of Jasper and cities of wherever issue. So we're having to clear all that up, even though we're basically, they would tell the council just a little bit for their information as to what you run into with the leaf debris that you have to deal with on a regular basis when you turn the high service pumps on.
The basin down there is basically filled up. There's nowhere else to put anything. So every time it rains or storms, it just pushes right on our intake. And we can open up the sluice gate there on the dam and get rid of a little bit of it. But I've told them, told FEMA, told Corps, told everybody we can tell that one of these days it's not going to work. And when that happens, I don't know, it'll be past an emergency. We don't have nowhere to get no water. So,
Well, I've talked to our engineers and anyone who listened till I'm pretty much blue in the face that the emergency that we have there on a regular basis, because we have a small creek and a small emergency for us is a large emergency, and safe drinking water is at risk. And so I think we're finally getting some people's attention. But if you just want to go do maintenance on this, they asked us today in FEMA meeting, what maintenance do you do? We can't do any maintenance. We can't get to our creek, and that's why it looks the way it looks today. Years ago, it looked a lot better because we took a few more risks as far as, that's all I'm going to say today. But anyway, we need to actually be able to work on that area. And one more thing for the council information, that with the time frames that Lonnie is discussing, I spoke with Mr. Cagle a few minutes ago. This could be happening right in between and before I hope we get water, but David can't let us stay out of the creek out of the creek very long while we do our work. But
fish are going to be on top of mud down there.
they don't have much room to swim now. So, but anyway, with this, we'll be able to flush out and do a few things if we can get in the creek to do it. So it's gotten tougher to do business in creek areas, and our water system just happens to be in a creek. So
the only work that's been done down there is they went down there and started up and found that there was darters down there.
Oh yeah, part of that study that we had to do prior to going in there.
It cost the city $8,000 to find that out.
Does they have what in there?
Darters. But anyway, it's just a shame that you have to spend money
You
like
may
this.
get approval for 200 feet. What's the scope?
Well,
To be clean.
the emergency permit will be for 100 feet or 25 cubic yards, whichever's first. The 200 feet, we will have to get the balance of the permits, we'll have to go through the regular procedure to get all the rest of the permits, but while we're cleaning out the emergency permits, Ben Turnipseed's group will be working on permits, and I'll be working with the FEMA bunch that's here, and doing their paperwork and keeping up everything.
200 feet gives you the clean area that you're needing then.
Well, that's all they're gonna let us do. We'd like to clean up even more and have it, where it won't fill up, because eventually everything above there is gonna start washing. And it'll take years, but the further we can clean it up, the better off we'd be. But they're only gonna allow 200 feet regardless. But then we can go above it and pull out the brush and everything is washed into it. We can do that even above the 200 feet.
Any other questions, council? Thank you, Lonnie. You scared everybody. Okay. Speaking of scared, Chief Lovell.
Is he got any emergencies?
You're not wanting to buy anything without it.
We're going to spend his money.
They took care of your budget.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The City of Jasper Police Department for the month of March responded, I believe this could be a record, 1,030 calls from service. Investigated 56 motor vehicle accidents, issued a total of 228 citations for the following: 1 DUI, 196 for speeding, 1 shoplifting, 1 reckless driving, 22 miscellaneous violations, 7 suspended or revoked license. Georgia State Patrol issued a total of 85 citations for a grand total of city court 313. Total of 24 state warrants were issued for the following: 2 false statements felony, 1 false report of crime misdemeanor, 1 terroristic threats and acts felony, 1 cruelty to children 3rd degree misdemeanor, 2 simple battery misdemeanor, 1 enticing a child for indecent purposes felony, 3 theft by taking misdemeanor, 2 theft by taking felony, theft by deception felony, burglary in the 2nd degree felony, possession of controlled substance felony, 2 giving false name misdemeanor, 3 financial transaction card fraud felony, 1 theft by receiving stolen property felony, and 2 theft or missed or lost late property. Miscellaneous calls answered were 24 alarm calls, 36 disorderly calls, 32 harassment, 7 trespassing or loitering, 64 suspicious activity calls, and 19 domestics. Investigated, no burglaries.
Questions, council? Mr. Lovell. Miss Ann's not going to ask you, but she asked me. And could you tell the council, because the public has been in a stir in Jasper, Georgia, over a viral video. Well, I want the public to hear what people are asking her behind our backs. So explain what happened the infamous evening that all this occurred. Okay, let Mr. Lovell have the floor, please.
Back in July of last year, my night shift guys received a call, signal 55, which is an unknown trouble, at which time they were advised there were 2 white males with face mask helmets on their head with cameras attached to their head, went into Walmart and were refusing to leave. That's what we were dispatched to.
In July of last year.
Yes. And which time officers responded, and in this day and age, it's like I told somebody, put a helmet and a mask on your face and put a camera on your head and go down to Hartsfield Jackson Airport and see what happens to you. Or go to Belgium and do that and see what happens over the current events. So officers, unknown trouble, didn't know what they had, didn't know if we had fixing to be a mass shooting, whatnot, responded. And simply placed the 2 subjects under arrest. There's a state law about wearing a mask into a public building. You can't go into a bank with a ski mask on. That's going to get someone's attention, and guns probably pointed at you. But we effected the arrest on the individual with state charges. I believe it was disorderly conduct and wearing a mask in public. And then later, the parents of the two individuals came in. One of the kids was a college student at University of Arizona, and they were begging for mercy. We talked to the officers, and we were able to reduce the charges down to simple city ordinance, disorderly conduct, so it wouldn't hinder the young man going to college. Didn't want to, pull the wings off the fly, as the mayor said, so we did that and helped the young men out. They since went back, and if you see the video, it's a television show that's been edited. You don't see the whole thing and whatnot. And guys did nothing wrong. The GBIs looked at it. Absolutely nothing wrong. As you well know, we're probably the most scrutinized profession in the world right now. Everything.
People have no use for you till they need.
Exactly. So that's it. Guys did nothing wrong. They're just doing their job and taking precautions. When you get dispatched to an unknown trouble call, you don't know what it's going to be. It could be a goat in a tree or 7 masked men with machine guns. You don't know.
I'm almost positive those two young men, before they did that, they probably thought, you know what, there's a good possibility that the cops are gonna get called on us, so.
Well, I think the television show even said it, a guy with a British accent, this is probably not a good idea, and it wasn't, so. But kids do crazy things, as you well know. So.
We've answered this, and we don't want to create another viral video. So, but anyway, Greg, I appreciate it. He put it on the spot, but I can't believe Ann didn't ask you, and I totally encouraged her to. And she sets me up like this. But anyway, I wanted you've explained this to me back last year.
Yeah.
And then it hit, and I had people calling my office, last week, and catch me up on this stuff. But anyway, thank you, Greg.
Sorry, I missed that night on TV.
We kind of, did you see Channel 2 Action News over the weekend where the arrest of Jeffrey Coleman?
I did.
He stabbed a dog in the mouth. He was wanted in warrants, over 30 warrants, Cobb County, Pickens County, Dawson County, City of Jasper, and stabbed a canine in the mouth and received 30 stitches, the dog did. So, and he's also being charged with, because when you do that to a police dog, it's like doing it to an officer, charged with aggravated assault.
Is he a local person, Pickens County?
He was.
Okay. Thank you, Greg, for your report.
Thank you.
Chief Rowe.
Do you have anything that exciting?
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
May I ask, what did you say?
She asked me a question and I asked her not to speak to me. She got me in trouble last time she talked to me. Mayor and Council, during the month of March, the city's fire department responded to 119 emergencies. Those were no structure fires inside or outside the city limits, 2 vehicle fires inside, none outside, 3 grass or brush fires inside the city, 1 outside, 9 motor vehicle accidents with injuries inside the city, 4 outside, 50 emergency medical responses in, 30 out, 12 other calls inside, 8 outside. As of the end of the month, it was 351 total. Fire inspection program looked at 1 set of plans for renovation and conducted 16 inspections.
Thank you, Steve. Any questions?
Not a question. I would like to thank Chief Roper and the North Georgia Fire Safety Command.
Correct.
How'd that go?
Performed at the college, who was an in-service, we call it an employee golfer. It was an insurance. There's nothing more difficult than performing in front of 500 college employees while they're supposed to be eating, while they're trying to eat.
Really?
But the guys did a good job. Thankfully, photographs have not made it out in the public.
I just want you to know, Councilman Looney, that I just deleted that off my phone a couple of days ago.
Thank you for deleting that off your phone.
Councilman Looney was our smoke detector demonstrator.
Oh, okay.
And a fine smoke detector I made.
One of the best, I might add. I saw a lot of them, but
Yeah.
one of the best.
I'm just
The blinking red nose is
on
what
the
really
TV
stands
here
out.
this evening, yes.
I just deleted that picture of you a couple of days ago.
Thank you.
See if you can round that back up.
Yeah, thank you.
It's probably in the trash bin.
But I do appreciate your.
You are quite welcome.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
John, really quick, JYSA update?
Baseball's going strong. Everybody seems to be doing well, field's looking better, wide open. As far as the wrestling season, though, was over, we ended up with a couple more kids at one state and place, so we probably had the best year we've ever had wrestling.
Good deal.
So, need to make sure we let our kids know how good they did. And then, also too, let you know that the Pickens First Foundation is gonna be having their, just call it jail and bail event.
Oh,
There'll be
yes.
several people carried up to the old jail and carried up there, and unfortunately, I'm gonna be one of them, so if y'all don't mind, I need a little help in trying to get out of
We're gonna
jail.
be there a while.
I will
Yeah,
make a small contribution to you, John.
we'll be there on April the 26th.
Okay.
I'm gonna be out of town.
Okay,
They rotate postage check.
everyone remember
Put it all
John
in there.
for the
so.
jail and bail. With no other business coming from the council, we'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, guests, for being here tonight.